Where can people send you a Valentine's Day card?
Well,
700 Queen Street East. That's right.
Yeah.
Addressed to that. Addressed to Uncle Dave.
He's a pro. He's a
yes.
pro.
You like that, huh? You like that?
I do like that.
Uncle Dave.
Are you a brewhead? I'm a brewhead. Are you a brewhead? I'm a brewhead. Y'all are brewheads? Yeah, we brewheads. So pour a glass of craft beer, we can do this. Yeah.
What's good, y'all? This is C-Certified Brewhead, and welcome to episode 97 of Beer and Other Shit, the podcast. And this afternoon, we are here in Riverside. Is that it?
Yeah, Riverside.
With Dave, Comet, and Head Brewer of Eastbound. My friend, thank you for having us, man.
Really appreciate
it.
Coming by.
Genuine pleasure. First time here. This is sick.
Yeah, it came together pretty well.
Yeah, man.
Put a lot of work into it, but it came together pretty well.
You definitely, like you said, squished it all in down there. You got a nice little, well, not little. It's actually quite large in the small space.
People are always surprised when they walk all the way to the back of the brew pub and suddenly just this brewery comes out.
It just drops.
And,
it's very impressive.
Yeah.
So before we get into the stories and everything, as y'all can see, we have if you're listening to the podcast, you can't see, we have a significant amount of product sitting on the table. Where shall we start?
Well, why don't we start on the lighter end of things? Why don't we do the Hidden Lake Hefeweizen?
Okay, perfect.
So that's our traditional German Hefeweizen. A lot of banana, clove notes to it.
Okay. Is that, do you have like flagship?
We never we never really. A lot of people were asking that at the beginning, and we were sort of thinking something will grow into being a flagship. And this is actually one of the beers that has really grown into that. It was in the starting rotation, and it's actually become pretty popular.
Okay,
grab it out.
Thank you, sir.
And, I'll take a little guy.
Yeah. Whatever. Pass that out there. Beauty. All right, beautiful. Cheers, man.
Cheers.
Get in ya.
Cheers.
Get a lot of cloves on the nose there. Oh, nice. This always throws me off first beer, and then whenever I try a light beer, it always I get way more bitterness than than really it tastes bitter to me, but I know it's not bitter.
Yeah, I mean, it's sort of I guess it's one of our lighter ones, but to start off with, it has so much flavor though too. So it's kind of attacks you right away.
Yeah, right. Like it hits you.
Ton of aroma in it, and it's got the regular Hefeweizen haze to it.
Yes, definitely. What's the ABV?
It's
5.7. Oh wow.
5.7. Yeah.
Jeez, it definitely tastes much lighter than that.
Yeah, it hides it. It's kind of a sneaky,
dangerous in the summer, right?
Yeah, kind of sneaky summer beer for sure.
So I'm going to warn you now, Dave. I do review the beers. So basically, during this podcast, I'm just going to take photos. I'm going to take a quick couple notes, but just so I don't fix it later, but I take photos with the beer. So now, because you're here, you're going to be in a lot of photos as well. So
okay.
That's what I'm saying. Are you comfortable with that?
I'm okay. Yeah, I'm all right.
Okay. Bam. Oh, I got the flash on. Okay. All right. So while I'm dealing with flash, oh geez, look at that. Dave, tell us about how did you get into beer?
Well, I think it's a pretty similar story to a lot of people, but kind of one of these things where I was, a young kid and just sort of, even well before drinking age, sort of enjoyed the whole kind of culture or idea around beer. Just sort of, I don't know, different things. I mean, movies, the TV shows, Cheers, things like that.
Right, just interested in
stuff like bottle caps and cans and labels and things. And I ended up taking a summer job at a brewery in St. Catharines that started since it's changed hands a couple times and sort of changed over. But I took a summer job there.
Which brewery was that?
It was Niagara's Best Brewing. It was in downtown St. Catharines quite a while ago.
So it's not. They're not.
I think they got purchased and then moved to Niagara Falls, and it's sort of.
Are they the college? Not the college, is it?
No. It's
Niagara's Best sounds mad familiar for some reason.
Yeah, so I took a summer job there where I was just sort of helping out. I was helping out the brewer and.
Like cellarman type work.
Yeah, and a lot of heavy labor, taking bottles down to the basement and bringing them back, pull ones up and back and forth kind of stuff.
Lifting malt bags and kegs.
And a lot of cleaning. Yeah, there's all the stuff that has to be done, but not a ton of fun to do.
Yes.
So got into that and really kind of got a real good interest, but kind of wanted to sort of jump it up a bit. So I started looking into brewing schools. And at the time, Niagara College wasn't doing the brewing school or anything. I ended up enrolling at Siebel down in Chicago.
Nice.
Yeah. So I went down there and
that was good.
Did that program. Yeah, it was amazing. And then did the part in Germany too. There's like a second half in Munich that we did. And
is that the one that makes you an official brewmaster as opposed to?
Yeah, it's like I suppose. I mean, really, it's like.
I know some people think it's a bit of a here nor there, but.
Well, I mean, really, it's like sure you can get. To me, it's like you can get that certification or that diploma or whatever, but really, it's like when you get the job of it, when you get the responsibility of it and everything else.
That's when it kicks in.
Yeah, and also when you're doing all the boring stuff, like all the projecting and all the business end of it too. So I mean, there's a lot of cool stuff to it, but there's like the brewmaster part is when you start getting into that the number stuff too.
Yes.
But yeah, so I went to Siebel and came back, and this is all very compressed kind of storyline here.
Yeah,
but
you can take your time. We have time.
We have time. Okay.
We have time.
Came back and started looking for a job, and at that point in Ontario, there wasn't nearly as many craft breweries.
What year would this be around?
This was 2007.
Oh wow, so it's a while ago.
Yeah.
Damn. OG.
Yeah.
All right.
Yeah, he's sort of been bumping around for a bit. Yeah. So I got started working at Grand River Brewing.
Oh yeah, Cambridge.
Nice. Like about a month after they opened.
Right, that's great. That's a good look.
So it was cool. Worked with Rob Creighton there. He was the head brewer there at the time, and learned a bunch there. Was there for about just under a year, I guess, and then sort of made the bigger move with a few months in between and everything to Mill Street Brewery.
Nice.
Where I worked at the production brewery for about 6 years.
Wow.
So, yeah.
So that was like I hear that's actually a real common thing where brewers go to I guess it's a larger scale, like Montreal. It's like Saint Ambroise or like one other one that everyone always goes to. I always forget. Trois Brasseurs. Like 3 brewers. I have it here too. And like that's where they get it. So do you feel that like Mill Street might have been that? Because I swear I've heard that before where brewers have kind of maybe got their footing at maybe Amsterdam or Mill Street. Then
I mean, I think there's a certain generation of brewers that were sort of in Ontario before this big boom,
right?
And basically looking for jobs at that point.
Right.
I mean, there was some smaller places, but there was Mill Street was growing at the time. Amsterdam was had been around for quite a while still, but they were growing and starting to go. And of course, Steam Whistle. Those are sort of the 3 that were a little bit bigger and had jobs available, and things are going on. I mean, that's a big part of it too, right?
Of course.
And so I think that kind of those 3 places sort of propelled the Ontario beer industry a little bit more.
Right.
As to see, now you're seeing guys that worked in those places either running things or a much bigger role in companies like that. So
it's fantastic. I feel like there's, and tell me if you agree, that there's like something to be said for when you're at a brewery and you're really trying to hone your brewing skills. There's something to be said for processes and like. If you're making Mill Street organic like over and over and over every day, like that's, it's boring at times, but it also like just you nail it. You know that this exact, it's precision and like like following it to the T. To it's I guess everything is like McDonald's. What's it called? Like when they have like consistency, I guess across the board, and that's what we're all striving for. It's difficult, but like I guess it kind of teaches you that. Would you say? Did you pull specific skills?
Yeah, I would definitely say. I mean. First off, consistency like you're talking about. It's, we used to brew the first 3 days of the week were organic.
Yeah.
Obviously a big seller, big money maker for them.
Yeah.
But, really driving consistency, really driving process. For me, that's part of the whole brewing thing. It really blends art and science and being mechanically inclined and working on that kind of stuff. So I got a lot of that from spending the time there, just being sort of process driven. Also with it being such a big scale and having to do so many brews, it's like Sam and I, Corbet from Sawdust, worked together there for about 2.5, maybe 3 years there together.
Nice.
And we talked about how we were just brewing so much. Like when I started there, I say it was like a regional brewery. And by the time I left, it was going across Canada.
Right.
And we were always talking about that, a year spent at Mill Street was practically like 2 or 3 years at other breweries because we were just doing so many brews. Right. So that just sort of emphasizes that process, that consistency, that kind of thing. So it kind of gets it into you. And then when I started here later on, it's like I had to adjust to this like smaller scale, but still bring those ideas of that approach.
I guess it would have been really cool on top of learning that to see that, like you said, go from a smaller brewery to a national brewery in those 6 years, pre-sale, I assume, or you went through the sale?
No, I was gone before the sale. Yeah.
So
that happened probably about a year and a half, 2 years after I left. Yeah.
Okay, so you saw that growth. So it would have been. Was it cool to see, like, give you an idea, like, this is what a growing brewery looks like, these are the changes that you go through, both business-wise, processes, all of that stuff, so then when you're going through that here, you're going to foresee it, and you can, maybe remember some of the issues that you went through, and even, like, not even you, like, the team and stuff.
Sure, yeah, just even equipment-wise, I think we did about 3 pretty large brewhouse upgrades, adding a whole bunch of packaging upgrades too, but then also sort of I think what you're talking about is a bit of culture change too within the brewery. Things have to get, when you're starting to get on a real big scale, things get a little more businessy.
Yeah,
they get a little more driven towards that,
right?
Which makes sense, but it's not always like the most fun thing people always think of, right?
Can you speak to any of that without, I don't want to dwell on it, but just because that's never come up before, that's a really good point, like the culture change, like can you give examples or like, whether positive or negative?
Yeah, I guess part of it is just the workload is just increasing so much, and now it's...
so same money, but you got to do more.
Yeah, similar to that, but also just, process becomes more important, and all the moving parts of it. Here it's super simple. It's very, very straightforward. There's not several departments. There's not the front office, and then there's brewing, there's cellar, there's packaging, there's all that stuff. All the bureaucracy kind of stuff. But all those moving parts sort of have to work really well for each other. And when it starts growing at such a pace, then you can start getting, breakdowns in those processes. So it's like, I think that's part of it. It's just how you end up coming out on the other side with it. There's sort of a struggle with growing like that. But then, if you manage it well, and it went pretty well there, that you have your troubles going along, but you end up, I think being stronger. But yeah, it does get more serious. It's not... Yeah. Unfortunately, it starts getting a little more... I don't know if all places are like that, but I'm sure there's a culture that you can keep going where it's, fun times and all that kind of stuff. But
I think that's what the deal.
Yeah, that's the deal. Like, I didn't get into it to be super serious about it all the time.
Absolutely.
So...
Okay, sick. So then you left Mill Street. And where did the idea spark to that? Like, I assume all along you're like, I need my own place. I want to do my own thing. Yeah,
that's why I went to brewing school. So I ultimately wanted to end up being an owner or co-owner of a brewery.
Right.
And so while being at Mill Street, just sort of dreaming about that more and more as I'm building the experience. I didn't ever have a plan to leave brewing school and immediately go open a place.
Of course, you need that experience.
Yeah, there's some guys that are looking to do that, but I wanted to make mistakes on other people's dime for a bit and do that for a bit and kind of build it up that. And and also just build some capital in the industry too, like get to know people and like sort of on a real basis too, like working with them or being around in that kind of culture for a while before starting it.
So I guess school is one thing, but actually working in a brewery is a whole other story.
Yeah, I think it's a surprise to a lot of people. They when they start working in a brewery, especially a busier one, they're thinking of it being a very factory-driven, machine-driven kind of thing, and there is that, and some breweries are less labor than others, but there is a lot of manual labor, a lot of lifting malt bags, a lot of doing that kind of stuff, a lot of heavy cleaning. So you always see, especially when you train people, like I trained a ton of people over that time at Mill Street, and you sometimes see in their faces the moment when they realize it's hard, and it's like, and you see it just sort of happen, and it's
like the disappointment and the reality kick in.
Yeah, and then it's how they react to that, and how they react to that, how they turn to it, and whether they're going to be a good brewer and useful in the brewery and all that kind of stuff. So it's sort of how they react to that.
Right. It's a good point, I guess, because then you know who really wants it. Though they could run a mile. Or,
yeah, I mean, I don't mean to be too like cutthroat about it, but it's like
it's facts, though.
It helps the people understand like whether they want to be in that industry or not, because it's like, it's like cooking, it's like brewing, it's so many things. It's like, you drink beer, you think that's a ton of fun. Let's go, open a brewery and make it. And it is a lot of fun, but there's, a lot of work, a lot of thought to it. So
absolutely,
it's good for people to figure it out early, I guess, whether they want to do it or not.
Hence working somewhere else. I like that.
Yeah.
To put a momentary pause, shall we? I noticed some glasses. What's the next?
Well, why don't we
just go in the order we go here?
Yeah, sure. Why don't we? We'll go to the Fresh Start. So Fresh Start Comet APA. So modeled up there.
Yes.
But so Fresh Start is our single hop series.
That's kind of what I gathered. Perfect. Okay.
Yeah. So we did Comet. We have Ekuanot here.
There's Nugget. I saw.
Yeah, there's Nugget. We've done a bunch of them. Simcoe, Summit, whole bunch of them. And we did that to really showcase a hop, see how it shows up in a beer, let people really see how different hops affect a beer.
Right.
So sort of, I mean, this sure is a common theme in your show, but like how hops are just sort of like different varietals of grapes that they can present such different flavors in them. So
that's a really good thing. I guess people do compare it to grapes, but like I feel like I don't know if anyone's really said that.
Oh yeah, well,
changing the game here.
Well, yeah, I mean, that's what it's all about.
These game changes.
That's right. That's all we do.
All we do is change it. Yeah. Put that there so we can continue with the branding, with that nice little. We'll get to the branding in a sec. Because I really do like. I love the bold colors. I got a thing for that. There's something to really be said about like seeing that fridge there, and there's just like solid bold colors with them all, like.
Yeah, it's a nice simplicity to it. It helps people tell them all apart. I mean, it's nice, bright, simple presentation to it.
Yeah, it's perfect. All right, a little bit opaque in there. Yeah. Nice little solid. Nice and crushable. What's this one as well?
It's just
5 even. You know the drill, Dave. Uh-oh. There he is. This time, we're going to get it right. First time. No do-overs. Legend. So how many of these ones have you done? Has this been like something you did from the start as well?
Yeah. This is one of the first beers we did. We actually did Ariana, which was...
Oh, yeah. That's a good one, eh?
Yeah.
Underrated.
That was a fun one. And then we worked through a bunch of them. Let's see. Simcoe, Summit, Nugget, Amarillo... Cashmere.
Cashmere? I didn't heard of that.
Yeah. That was fun. Ekuanot. What else? But yeah, a whole bunch of Centennial's gonna be coming up.
You picked really interesting hops though. Like normally there's the ones you see are the Mosaic and Citra and Simcoe. I mean those ones, but then I didn't even see Comet period, let alone in a single hop, and then Nugget as well, which I think is that a noble hop?
Yeah, Nugget's kind of an underrated, sort of granddaddy hop sort of thing, and I wanted to kind of bring that out, and we use it in our hef as like a handful in the hef, just kind of balancing it out. But when I was making that, brewing that, I was just like, this smells so good. It probably has a nice flavor to it. It'd be nice to sort of showcase it. So fresh start for the customers for the drinkers to find out like the hop taste, but it's also really fun for us to see how this hop does on its own. Then we can sort of put it into other beers, play with it like that. Fresh Start came from like our beginning. Actually, it's a fun story. I guess we have
good segue. That was my next question. Was so we've left Mill Street.
Oh yeah.
How did everything start with the brewery? So I guess.
Okay. Yeah.
You've done this before, Dave.
It's what I'm here for. Yeah. So Eastbound is sort of probably a similar story, but it was. Sort of ties into the name too and everything. What happened was there's four partners. Myself, Adam, who
Adam's
here.
A partner too?
Yeah.
Nice.
Adam's a partner, and then I have two more partners, Pete and Dave, and so there's two Daves in the ownership. Yeah. And so we kind of came together from knowing each other. Adam and I knew each other a little bit, and then Pete and Dave knew each other, and we sort of introduced to sort of this like network that we ended up talking to each other. And so it's 4 guys who basically wanted to start a brewery, kind of a similar story to a lot of people, but coming from different backgrounds of things. I mean, obviously I'm coming from the brewing end of things. Dave Watson was working for a beverage company in Cot, doing sort of a different kind of end of things, not on the production end of it. And then Adam has his own whole other career, working at City, being the meteorologist at City TV.
Oh wow!
Really? But he's just a big beer enthusiast. He grew up in the Pacific Northwest and near Seattle.
Right.
So he's kind of has blood in his beer in his blood. Beer in his blood.
Blood beer. I
don't know. Maybe later when he helps the breweries. But and then and Pete is just a kind of an entrepreneurial kind of guy, and he got involved in it all with us. And then, but also the important part as to how we got onto a brew pub is actually my wife Tara, who's the head chef here.
Very convenient.
Yes. So we had been talking for like over 10 years about starting a place, starting a brew pub, starting a small restaurant with a little brewery in the bag, even like on a nano scale. Or we kept changing the plan all along, like as the years went by, kind of to do it, right? And then this kind of meeting these guys and talking about it, realizing we're in like minds with the whole thing, sort of just got to the point where, hey, we can actually do this kind of thing. It was kind of a big thing to take on, the two of us. And Tara likes to say, like, we had this sort of thing planned, but we just never knew we would do it with 3 other people. So. But it made it better, right? Oh, it made it a lot better, yeah. It just, everyone's using their different skill sets and everything to bring to it. So it's sort of with the name Eastbound, it's like we're obviously in the East End of Toronto, but it's been sort of coming together on a sort of, I mean, sounds kind of hokey, but coming together in sort of a trip or a journey to bring this together. Totally. To bring people to this kind of beer, this kind of food, the pairing of it all, that kind of thing. So
sick, man.
But yeah, I mean, it was that's a quick story about how it began. But
was there a long gestation period then?
Yeah, I mean, we sort of.
But I guess from like to the point maybe when you met the 4 of you, well, I guess 5 of you at Tara as well.
Yeah.
When the other guys came in, because it was going to be your thing, and then from when they came in, and you guys were like probably saying, "Hey, yeah, we've always wanted to do it," and they were like, "Yeah, I'm going to do it."
Yeah, I mean, Tara and I, it was always sort of the talking and putting it in, never really getting right down to it. And then when we started talking to these guys, we really started, getting really serious about it, and we probably about a year. Sort of batted it back and forth about what we would do, sort of our approach, financing stuff, all that kind of fun stuff.
Yeah.
But also just seeing if we're on the right, on the same plane with it all. Seeing that we didn't want to have all these people together wanting to go in different directions and sort of never really getting in any particular direction. So probably about maybe a little over a year we did that. Started looking for places, which took a lot more time than we thought, because I mean, a brewery has so many requirements, height requirements, all that kind of stuff,
plumbing, like everything, and then a kitchen on top of that.
And then the kitchen on top of it. So I mean, you can do all this planning, but you have to be a little crazy to do the whole thing. So it's like
absolutely bonkers.
So we got a real estate agent that was probably as crazy as us, and was able to like be creative and see places and she came here and was like, this place was available for a while, but I remember walking by a bunch and looking in and thinking it was a cool location and a cool spot, but it just couldn't be big enough for the brewery. And she was able to look at the space, and she got in and saw the sunken area. And
so was it all the way down that?
It wasn't quite all the way down. It was probably they had a floor on it, and then we took the floor out, and it went down another about 5 or 6 feet. Yeah. So it was already sunken pretty good, and like when she brought me in, she says, "No, come all the way to the back, like take a look at it and everything." And so then that's when the wheels started turning about like this place, and that really started kicking the plan, sped it up quite a bit to see like, okay, it's it's manageable to do this and all that. I'm still trying to figure out if it's manageable in the space, but
hey,
it's working out. So we're making beer, so yeah.
And that's all that matters. So the food. You want to speak to the food and how are you making the food to complement the beer or vice versa? Like how does that all come together?
We should speak to it. We should grab Tara.
Grab her in.
Yeah.
We're just talking about how the food and the beer works together, and sort of how you guys have sort of coordinated, whether it's the beer first or food first, or like sort of how that sort of little cycle is.
How have we done that?
How have we done that? Well, I mean, I was talking a little bit earlier about how we tried to sort of take food up a notch at a brew pub in general, and really try to make it happen.
Yeah. How was it all sort of? How do you guys work together to sort of fit the beer and the food together? Like, is it food first, and then like you like, oh, I want to make this. Yeah, cool. I could do a beer that to suit, or is it vice versa, or how does that?
For sure, I think it's a little bit of a combination of both. I think to get open, it was a little bit of like I started with a menu that I wanted to do of all the fun things, and then he started with the beers he wanted to do, and now they're slowly coming together more and more. We're starting
specials, especially.
Exactly. Every Tuesday we do $5 mussels, and we do 3 sauces, and a beer in each one. And it usually coordinates with whatever the flavoring is going with it. So tonight we have Hidden Lake Hefeweizen going with our fennel orange mussels, and then or sometimes we'll do stout and like beer mustard and things like that. So we try I try to cook with the beer as much as possible too. So we try to fit that into all the different it's great for marinating and braising and all that kind of stuff. So we plan on working together on like kitchen beer series.
Yeah,
what's a kitchen beer series?
That's the thing we want to do. Sort of just collaborating a lot more with like food ingredients, sort of things people haven't really thought about too much. Things about
putting beer.
Yeah, different herbs, different savory items, especially.
Cooking and beer have so many similarities just with how flavors come together and how things are made. So it kind of makes sense for us to work together a little bit more.
Right. Like a fennel beer, maybe.
Yeah, like exactly things that you wouldn't necessarily find in a beer, but try to sneak it in there and see how it works.
That's right.
That's really cool.
Write down fennel beer.
Right. Yes.
You can have that one.
Fennel beer. Got it.
At least I can do for that.
It'll be like a collab.
That one's for
great.
free.
No, that's an idea. How can they find you online, Dave?
Well, we're at Eastbound Beer and eastboundbeer.com.
Okay.
We are soon to be relaunching our website. The original website was a very rudimentary website.
It's very
check the boxes kind of thing, but
not anymore.
We're relaunching it. Maybe by the time this opus comes out,
about 3 weeks,
we will we'll have it out. And but Instagram is where we're pretty strong at Eastbound Beer, and check that out.
New stuff is coming.
Different events and the
pickle event.
The pickle class that's sold out, but there's more classes coming.
Sold out because people eat pickles.
There's more classes coming. Yeah, whether you like it or not. But there's more classes coming. Maybe come to the next class. And then we have the Low Country Boil, which is like a big seafood boil. That's a deal. That's a good thing.
August 30th.
Yeah, August 30th. Yeah,
August 30th. Oh.
I hope I said the right day, August 30th. But check the Instagram.
Check the Instagram at Eastbound Beer.
Yeah.
Oh, can you imagine all that stuff in the one thing? The seafood. Oh my gosh! That makes up for all the pickled ingredients.
Poured basically right out of the pot, poured right down the middle of the table. It's a communal thing.
Yeah.
Yeah, you have at it, and all the beers, all the Eastbound beers. We have Crowler's. We have the 12-ounce cans.
Yeah, 12-ounce cans to go.
Hibiscus Saison will be out at that point.
Ooh. Yeah, 12-ounce cans to go, and you can take a Crowler of anything on the menu from draft.
That's right.
You have some merch and stuff as well.
Yeah, we got t-shirts, hats, the whole deal.
I love it.
Yeah.
Where can people send you a Valentine's Day card?
What's that?
Where can people send you a Valentine's Day card?
Well,
700 Queen Street East. That's right.
Yeah.
Addressed to that. Addressed to Uncle Dave.
He's a pro. Yes.
You like that, huh? You like that?
I do like that.
Uncle Dave.
Yeah.
Call you Uncle Dave? I feel like you have an uncle vibe.
Yeah.
I mean that in the best way possible.
No, I take it in the best way possible.
I like uncle.
Yeah. I'm an uncle. Yeah.
Yeah.
My brothers have kids.
Nice.
Yeah.
My brother doesn't have a kid, so I'm an uncle. Idiot. Yeah, I
didn't want to start something. I thought that was the same place we were in.
Andrew or Greg?
They both do.
Andrew and Greg. I just want to shout out to Andrew and Greg and all the children.
Bible names. Let's go.
Bible and biblical names.
Yeah. Strong names.
Strong names. Dave, you're the best, mate. Guys, if you enjoyed the podcast, and I sincerely hope you did, chuck us a big fat thumbs up. Hit subscribe below and hit the notification bell ding so you know when the new episodes come. And follow us on social media at BAOS Podcast and check out the long form audio so you can hear very attractive and well-spoken gentlemen like my Uncle Dave here talk about beer and eat his chips. That is it, guys. Thank you for watching. Cheers, Dave.
Cheers.